This is all I've done with the body. Sorry guys, I get there eventually. Thanks for watching. So let's measure the lifts on different cams I have. I'll start with the 850 GLT. This is from 92 to 93 models. I think they changed the cams after that. So I'm gonna do this kind of scientifically. That's the way I am. So the number, the Volvo part number on the cams are in this end. So let's start with looking at that. That one I can hardly read. So I know I can read the other one. Start with that one. So this is that's the exhaust cam. So let's write down here 3547, 3547, 601, and that's E for exhaust. So I'm pretty sure this one is that's a 0. Let's do a little bit of yeah. That's 35, 47, 600, and that's the intake. So let's measure the lift. I use a digital caliber, and we measure the thickness here first. .31. That was the intake. 32.31. And then we do the total. Forty 40.40. It's the biggest I get. Let's subtract that. 40.40 minus 32.31. That gives me a lift of 8.09. So what about the exhaust? Well, this number should be the same. I'll put this away. It's in my way. So the exhaust should be the same as the other one. This is not easy to get an exact measurement. See if I do it this way then. I gotta remeasure the intake. That's 32. This is the same. 40.40. So I assume let's see if all of them are. That's 32. That's 32. That's 32. So we change the number on the intake to 32. Do a new calculation. So it's 40.40 minus 32. That's 8.4, and it's the same on the exhaust. 8.4. So they have both the same lift. Let's take so this exhaust, it's 68 42282. Exhaust 68422. This is intake, it should be 41 2281. So is it the same lift on this? $32. $40. This one, what was that? Exhaust. 32 and 40. That's almost half a millimeter less lift. You Is the intake the same? $32. $40. Yeah. So that's the cams I have. I got the turbo cam from the 193 horsepower, but that's on the engine I have outside, so I can't measure them now. So the next step is gonna be the duration on these three different styles of cams. I'm gonna find out the duration on them. So I'm gonna set that up and start measuring. So I'm gonna try to find the duration on all these cams I have. Some of them are duplicates, so I don't have to measure all of them. Some are duplicates. So I set this up, the engine with the timing belt. It's got no pistons or rods in it. I'm not after the exact top dead center. I just want to measure the duration on the cams, and I'm going to measure the lift on them too, and see which one I'm going to use, which is the best one. And I cut this head, or the cam cover, because this head had a bad journal, cam bearing journal. I think it was this side. That's scorn in the aluminum, very bad, so you can't use this head anyway. So, and the cam covers, they're machined with the head, so you can't use the cam cover for another head. So I cut it open, and that's why I did that was because the cam cover is what's holding the cams down when the valves are opening. So you need the cover to keep the cams in place when you rotate the engine. I also removed all the valves except this exhaust and this intake valve. That's the only two valves left, because you only have to measure one cam knock on each cam. So you got the stand there for the dial indicator, which is here, but I have to modify this one because it's a very tight spot to get on top of the lifter, or what do you want to call it. This cam pushes straight on the valve with the hydraulic lifter in between. So I need to get this one down here, and the pin is too short. So I found this tool. It's some kind of AC tool. I never use it, so I'm gonna try to thread this. I think it looks like an M3 thread. You can unscrew this tip here. So I'm gonna thread this one and see if I can get it to fit on here. That way I get a longer tip on it, so I can get down to the lifter. So I'm going to try to thread this one, and then we'll see if it works. Okay, now I'll set this up. I've already done the exhaust cam as a trial run, so I don't waste a lot of time on videos. So let's do the intake. And I made my own degree wheel from I printed out the degrees, or whatever you want to call it. I printed it out from internet, and then I just cut a piece of 2mm sheet metal, and I glued the paper on the sheet metal, drilled a hole in it, and it's got a pin there. I had to do a hole for the pin there, and there's no pistons, no rods in it, so the top dead center, I just estimated it. The cams are lined up according to the marks, but I haven't found out the exact top dead center because I don't need that to measure the duration on the cams. And I got the dial indicator there. Unfortunately, on these engines, they're too tight to get to the lifters to measure, so on each side. So when I do the one side of the duration, I have to put the dial gauge on this side, and then I have to move it over on that side. So what you do is, the valves are closed now, completely closed. I put this on 0, and I'm doing 2 measurements. So the first one, I measure at 0.1mm lift. So let's do that first. So this gauge goes from 1 revolution is 1mm. So I started on the wrong side. Let me reset the dial indicator. Okay, let's try this again. See, like I said, it's not enough room on the lifter to put the dial indicator on it. So this is on 0 now. So we turn it around until the intake valve starts opening. That's about 0.1mm. Then you read the degrees down here, and that is 20. I write that down. And then we do a measurement on with 1mm lift. So just keep going on this, so it goes around 1 turn to the 0. Oh, a little bit overdue there. There. And how many degrees are that? That's 11. Then I'm going to reset this so I can measure when it closes. So I'll be right back. There, I got it reset now. So let's see here. At 0.1 lift, it's at 57 degrees. Let's see what it is at 1mm lift. That's 37. Then you add these numbers together with 0.1mm lift. You got 20 plus 57, and then you add 180 because the cams only spin half the RPM as the crank, and that turns out to 257. And on 1mm lift, 11 plus 37 plus 180, that's 228. So these are the cams from the early 850 GLT, the first one, 92, 93. So I'm gonna measure the other cams I have too, and make a spreadsheet out of the information. But I don't have to film all the cams. This is a little bit how you do it. I'm not going into any big details. You have that if you want that. There's plenty of YouTube videos detailed about this. So see you in a little bit. There's a special tool for Volvo engines and Ford, the Ford Focus. They use the Volvo engine. You put it in the back here on the camshafts to lock them in position when you do like the timing belt, and also when you attach the cam wheels to the cam, because the cam wheels have slotted holes, so you can adjust them a little bit. So that's why you lock the cams with this tool. I don't have one, and I'm not going to buy one, so I'm going to make my own. Got some spill steel here, so it's going to be like this one goes here, and this one goes on the other side of the cross one, because the slots are not lined up evenly. This one is a little bit, this cam is a little bit higher up, and this is a little bit lower down. They're not centered on the cam. Don't know why they did that. So this side is going to be on top of this crossbar, and the other side is going to be in the bottom, and it fits perfect. I don't know if you can see, I'm not holding my hands here. And then you just make an L bracket on the bottom here, so you can attach it to the head in this bolt hole. That way it keeps it in place so it doesn't fall out. So let's do that now. Let's see how it turns out. Let's see if it fits. It's like this now. So it goes like this. There. I forgot my bolt. Like there. See, I'm gonna test this because I gotta remove the timing belt, lift the head, and put a piston and a rod in it. So we'll see if it works. Easy and quick job. Saved a lot of hundreds of crown. by buying it. So this fits on all 5-cylinder. I think they fit on the 4-cylinder too, I'm pretty sure. So that's it. Now I got the top dead center on the piston, and I put the pointer at 0 on the degree wheel. So that way I know that 0 on the degree wheel is exactly top dead center on the piston. So let's start putting some cams and timing belt on it and start measuring duration. Okay, let's measure this. Start with the intake cam on the excuse me, on the old 850 92-93. So the piston is in top dead center and the dial indicator is on the lifter. So first we're gonna do the degree on 0.1 lift. I measured it wrong the first time. I put it on instead of 1/10 of a millimeter lift, I put it on 1/100th of a millimeter lift the first time I did it. So that's why I'm redoing it, because the numbers I got, it didn't seem right, so I had to redo it, and that's why I put the one piston in it without rings, so I can get exactly top dead center. And it's pretty hard to turn the engine around, even with just 2 valves and 1 piston without rings. Here I changed the tip of the dial indicator. I didn't get good enough measurement with that extra long tip, so I cut it down, made it shorter, so I could position it in a better way against the lifter. I get a more accurate reading with the shorter tip. Well, I measure the older the old generation GLT cams, and this is a newer version that's in the engine right now. That's all these cams are before variable cam timing. I have 2 cams that had an odd number, and it turns out that's for a newer head. Doesn't fit on this head. But this is a pain in the ass. It's so tight here to get down here to measure on the lifter. So you have to measure it like I do here from one side, and then you gotta move it and measure from the inside to be able to get to the lifter. So the degrees I got from measuring these cams, I won't say there are exact degrees, but it's pretty close. I've done this on, I think I've done it 3 or 4 times, and I compared the numbers and they are very close to each other. So I'm pretty sure it's not spot on, but it's close enough. So I just gotta see if I can find any numbers on an R cam. See here, I started on this side and then turn on this side. I've done it a couple of times, so I'm gonna clean the numbers up and put it online. Some stuff that happens after the last video. The guy I bought that engine from that I torn down, I bought a flywheel from him too. This is brand new, never used. A billet steel with oh, what was the name of this on English? It's got the trigger wheel and the starter. Shit, I don't remember what the name was for it. You guys know. Starter ring? Maybe it was that. Starter ring. And the trigger wheel. Billet steel. It weighs 7 kilograms. I don't know how much the stock flywheel weighs. I know that there was on the engine from the 850 there was a double mass, so that's a lot more weight. But this is gonna be a single. And I think I'm going with maybe a 6-puck clutch. Well, we'll see. And I also got the parts washer inside. This one I bought for 600 crown, but the old pump, this one, I'm not sure how good it was working. I know it was spinning, but I didn't test the flow on it. So I bought a new pump. It's in this box, and I had some wheels laying around in my box with stuff that's, you know, used for stuff. So this is gonna be my next project. As you all know, I'm kind of worn out on this one, so I'm doing some other stuff in the meantime until I get back on track. So this is my next project. I already showed in the video. I did camshafts, measure them, so I got that done. And I also picked up these wheels. There's 4 of them. The tires are all shot, but I wasn't going to use these tires anyway. But these are 7.5 by 17. It comes from the Volvo V70, so the offset or the ET is right. So I wanted 17-inch wheels due to the rotating mass. 16 inch is gonna be too small for the brakes I'm gonna use, and bigger than 17 is gonna be too heavy. So this is gonna be my the wheels I'm building fender flares and stuff after, and eventually later on I'm gonna get some really lightweight 17-inch wheels, just because the rotating mass. So, oh yeah, I also picked up a spare transmission with an angle gear. I picked that up yesterday. So I got a lot of transmission stuff, at least one spare angle gear now. They're really hard to find these days, the angle gears. And the one you can find, they're kind of expensive. So, but transmission, so I got 3 transmissions now and 2 angle gears. And the snow is starting to melt. All of it is not gone yet, but it's getting there. As soon as it's melted enough, let's see if I can finish hooking up the 4-post lift, so I can get the beamer on it and do my transmission service and stuff. But that's a little bit about what I've been doing and what I'm going to do. I just want to keep in touch with you guys that subscribe on my channel. I got 500 subscribers now, which I'm really grateful for. And my next goal is 1,000. If I get 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to get some, not much, but a little bit of money back from YouTube on the ads and stuff. So I'm aiming for 1,000 subscribers now. Thanks for watching, all of you, and thanks for the support you've been giving me in the comments and stuff. See you later.